Let me show you something. If you watched a recent Japanese drama or reality show, they might show a character watching this broadcast, or maybe reenacting it themselves. In 2019, the Japanese emperor abdicated and made his son emperor. To get to that point, a lot of political and technical standards work had to be done beforehand. Let's go back further in time. Before written history, a Shinto god brought 3 sacred treasures to Earth. I promise this is relevant. His ancestors included the goddess of the sun, and his descendants started the Japanese imperial family, who you can follow on Instagram. According to medieval literature, the sword was lost at sea in 1185, but each new emperor continues to be presented with the 3 sacred treasures, hidden inside boxes. Japanese cultural history will get divided into emperor eras, something like how Americans might talk about the 1950s as a decade, or baby boomers as a generation. It's also not too different from how the British monarch and the Pope can choose a name for themselves. Because it represents the rule of the emperor, one of these eras could last for decades. It's sometimes used as the year in some contexts, like driver's licenses. When Emperor Hirohito died in 1989, the Showa era ended and his son Akihito's era was announced to be Heisei. So most of 1989 was Heisei 1, 1990 from January onward was Heisei 2, and so on. For programmers out there, you can access this in JavaScript and other languages which have ICU support. As Japan modernized, they developed a constitutional role for the emperor. After World War II, the emperor continued a highly respected ceremonial role, but has slightly less powers compared to, for example, the British king. The Constitution did not provide guidance for how the emperor could end his role, other than by death. The last abdication occurred in 1817. In 1999, records emerged that Hirohito believed it was a sacred duty to repair Japan and continue holding the office until death. But how did his son feel? In 2001, politicians began discussing reforms, such as allowing women to inherit the throne and become empress. This is part of a period of stress and attention on the lack of new sons in the imperial family. In 2006, the birth of Prince Hisahito changed the nature of that debate, but it is still ongoing. There is a great Wikipedia article on it which covers broad cultural interest in this topic, including this manga. Between 2010 and 2016, Emperor Akihito dropped hints that he would like to abdicate. There was a type of stalemate where the Japanese legislature, known as the Diet, was reluctant to change the emperor's role themselves, and the emperor was not supposed to direct the Diet to change political stances. The emperor's 2016 press conference alluded to abdication directly enough to set the wheels in motion. In 2017, rather than amending previous laws, the Diet decided to pass a law allowing this specific emperor to abdicate, and the transition took place on May 1st, 2019. The coronation of a new emperor was mentioned in the reality show Terrace House. While the Japanese people knew that abdication and a new emperor was coming for over a year, they did not know the emperor's era name, Reiwa, until an announcement a month earlier. Here's a time travel film from 2020 where a character asks her future self what comes after Reiwa.
どうも。未来の私、令和の次の言語ってわかるの？わかんない。
This uncertainty caused problems similar to the Y2K bug. Calendars had to change. Most software had been written during the Heisei era since 1989. To give everyone time to prepare, Japan asked the Unicode consortium to reserve a space, known as a code point, for the era name once it was published. One was picked shortly after, in 2018. This left a year where the space was reserved, but no one knew what it would look like. To nerd out for a bit, this code point is in a different Unicode block from the other Emperor eras, and I don't see room next to it. Maybe there's one more unallocated in the block that could be used, but maybe the next one will be added somewhere else. It's hard to know. Please leave a comment if you've noticed any other mentions of the new Japanese Emperor era in Japanese television that you're watching.